I'm Michael MacNair. I work for Thales Security. We're a vendor of data protection products, things like hardware security modules and network cryptos. And I'm a security engineer with Thales. So I did a degree in software engineering, and my first job was with Kinetic, a company. I was doing software engineering, but they do a lot of security work. And over time, I just gradually drifted into doing more and more security work because it was interesting. Then made the move to sort of full-time security engineer with Thales Security. So it's a happy accident, really. And I recently finished a part-time degree with Royal Holloway in information security. Typical day. It varies quite a lot for me over the year. Some of the major things I work on include working with development teams to help ensure we've got a secure design and implementation for a product feature or an entire new product. Doing implementation reviews, code reviews of new features that we're working on or bits of the product. A lot of our focus as a group, I work in a security office team, is on improving the processes that we follow as an engineering department within the company. You only have to look around to see how many vulnerabilities are being announced every day to realize it's a very much an unsolved problem, how to implement secure products. So we spend a lot of time trying to improve that process that we follow within engineering. I also spend a certain amount of time just keeping up to date, learning new things, new areas that I need to work on for a particular problem, whatever's happening in the news. Best bits for me is the learning. Pretty much not a day goes by when I don't learn something new, and I find it a fascinating field, so that's a real plus for me. In close second is probably breaking things. I'm not sure if I mentioned I spend a lot of time doing vulnerability assessments of the products, and the satisfaction and the thrill of finding and exploiting some flaw is quite pleasing. Of course, it's tempered because ideally we would never have any security problems in our products, but it's a good part. Worst part, I guess sometimes you can be doing an implementation review and see the many thousands of lines you've got to get through. And of course it was all written by highly skilled engineers, so there's no problems whatsoever. And that can be slightly dull. But as I say, the job's very varied, so it doesn't last too long. So for me, I can just say what I do. I use books, Twitter, blogs, and conferences. So in a bit more detail, it's quite a young field, information security, but there are lots of good books. If you're interested in getting involved, web application security is kind of the highest profile area, and I would personally recommend The Tangled Web, excellent book, and the sort of Bible or most popular intro in that area is the Web Application Hacker's Handbook, another good book. And there's many other books you can find reviews, obviously. On blogs, there's lots of blogs. I use an RSS feed reader to keep it all together, to make it more digestible. Twitter is an interesting one. There's a huge amount of content, far more than you can read, but it's not just an echo chamber. Certainly there's that element of it where it's quite easy to find yourself just following a small subset of the field, but if you pay attention to who you're following and you don't just blindly follow a particular chain, then there's lots of new ideas, and you can stay up to date by that manner. And then conferences all across the world, there's a never-ending stream of good quality security conferences where you can get the latest research. So I enjoy what I'm doing. So for me, it's more of the same, but better. So I'm going to be practicing more, learning more, developing my skills. I'm not going to go down the managerial route. For me, I want to remain a technical expert. Part of that is contributing back to the community, so doing original research and releasing that back, which will be sort of the next steps for me. So it's a very broad field. And I would suggest thinking about the different types of roles and the different types of companies that there are available. So if we talk companies, there's, I think, you can split them into three broad categories. There's users, like any company in the world needs to think about security these days. There's vendors, makers of products or security products in particular. And there's consultants. So be your pen test companies or the big 5 consultants, whatever. They all have security departments. So they all have a different slant on the type of work you're doing. It might be in the same field, but you'll be working on either different people's products, always the same products, et cetera, et cetera. And then there's many different fields. So I've talked a bit about application security. There's also infrastructure security, network security, host side. There's the management side of it, thinking about risk and so forth. So look at the different domains. It's easy enough to move between them. It's not like the case that once you're in them, you're trapped. But see what you think is going to be best suited for you and give it a shot. Finally, if you want to get into the company, we're hiring. So go to thales-esecurity.com. You'll see the jobs there. But if they're not the ones for you, there's a lot of jobs available in the industry. You're probably listening to this because you know there's a skills shortage and you're interested. So jump in.